Hey guys, come on in. Freedom Now. Freedom Now. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York. Join me today for we're going to have a wonderful show. I have some breaking important immigration news to cover with you, in addition to diving into your questions. I know that you guys have a lot of questions for me, so we'll have a very good Q&A segment. And then we're going to end on some high note with some good news stories, your stories that you told us about most recently. So come on in and type in Freedom Now, Freedom Now. And also, friends, certainly let me know where you're joining from today. Give us the city and the state. This session is being moderated, so we ask that you be respectful of other people's comments and just bring us your good vibes in today's session and share this with your friends and family, because you never know. You never know who needs this information. Hey there, good to see you guys. Hey there, Natalie. Thank you for being here today. Marcia, thank you for always being here as well. If you're joining on your lunch break, just say that I'm on my lunch break. I'm on my lunch break, and I'm feeling great today. Good to see you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for being here. Good to see you guys. Thank you. Freedom Now. Type in Freedom Now. Come on in. Let's go. Veronica, hey there. Good to see you. Frank is joining from Bangladesh. All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. From Bangladesh, Marilyn is in the house. Awesome. Let's see who else is on here today. Brooklyn is in the house. Bernadette, thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, at McBean Law, we're here for you, where we work on very complex immigration cases for clients nationwide and across the globe. You may reach out to us at 914-898-9488 or go to info or email us, I should say, email us at info@mcbeanlaw.com. And certainly you can visit our website to learn more about us. I encourage you to go to mcbeanlaw.com/success, where you will see our success stories. All right, come on in. Yonkers is in the house. Awesome. Thank you. Manhattan is in the house. Thank you for being here, Kerwin. Thank you. Thank you. Someone is watching while at work. Awesome. All right, so we're going to go into, guys, some important news. And I'm going to spend some time on this because it is important. This is about naturalization, friends. The Trump administration recently came out with some very important updates to the citizenship naturalization process that you really need to be aware of and understand it incredibly well, so that you do not make the mistake of being ignorant when you walk into that interview. You've got to be prepared, and I'm going to dive into it momentarily. All right, so let's talk about naturalization. Let me just shift this over here on my screen so that I'll be able to focus a little bit on the different scenes that I'm going to pull up for you guys. Okay, so friends, the naturalization process is changing in a very significant way. If you're thinking about citizenship, you're going to need to follow along and certainly watch this video a second time, just so that you understand what's happening, what the changes are. But on August 15th, the Trump administration announced significant changes to how uscis will evaluate the good moral character requirement for naturalization. And this is more than just a procedural update. It is a fundamental shift that could make the citizenship process more challenging and unpredictable for thousands of applicants. Under the old rule, which was before August 15th, 2025, the good moral character was pretty much straightforward. It focused primarily on disqualifying criminal offenses like an aggravated felony and some other types of major problems that individuals had at the time that they were seeking naturalization, like big tax problems or child support problems or even infidelity. Cheating on your spouse is considered a character problem as well. And it was, once an individual was able to rectify some of those problems, for the most part, they would be fine and would be able to overcome and get their citizenship approval. However, under this new policy, it instructs the officers to conduct a holistic assessment of your life. That's right, they're going to be diving deeper and focusing on what contributions have you made over the years here in the United States? It's no longer just about, oh, I've stayed out of trouble all these years or over the past 5 years. During this statutory period, I've stayed out of trouble. I don't have anything on my record that could disqualify me. Yes, I owe the IRS some money, but I have a payment plan. Yes, I have child support issues, but I'm on a payment plan. They're not looking at those excuses, so to speak, anymore. According to the memo, they're not looking at it from that angle anymore. They're looking at what value have you added to us here in the United States? What contributions, positive contributions, have you made while you've been here all these years? What have you been doing in the community? Or have you been working? Are you able to keep a steady job? They're looking at your contributions now under this good moral character requirement, and they can deny a person based on lack of good moral character. So it's much easier now under this new standard to deny folks of citizenship. This means that USCIS is no longer looking for the absence of wrongdoing. They're looking for positive contributions and scrutinizing behaviors that were previously overlooked. This goes beyond your criminal record. Okay, the new directive expands the definition of what constitutes lack of good moral character to include actions that are technically lawful but inconsistent with civic responsibility. For example, it includes things like reckless or habitual traffic infractions, which we're going to go into all of this momentarily. So yes, this means if you have a lot of speeding tickets on your record, it will be a problem for naturalization going forward. It wasn't before, but it will be under this new guidance. And there's some other things. We're going to go into it. So it means minor non-criminal offenses like multiple speeding tickets, as I've said, or a long history of traffic violations could now be used as a reason to deny your citizenship application. So now, friends, the memo, I'll just so that you understand what the government is thinking about, okay? The memo says that this is the vision. The vision. Naturalization is envisioned not simply as a procedural immigration benefit. It's the greatest of all benefit, it says here. But it is a significant legal transformation and assimilation to a country that demands both allegiance and character. Okay, let's shift this down a little bit. So they're looking to see whether you've really assimilated to the country or whether you're just here for the benefit of citizenship and all that comes along with that benefit. So under this new approach, when they're reviewing your application and interviewing you, they're going to be looking to see what positive contributions or attributes you have. What is it that you bring to the table? And they say it this way, going forward, USCIS officers must account for an alien's positive attributes and not simply the absence of misconduct. And they must take into account this holistic approach and look at these factors about you. Number one, sustained community involvement and contributions in the United States. So this is for those of you, this can hurt some of you who are just, okay, I'm just going from work to home, work to home, work to home. That's it. I don't have any real life outside of work or home. I'm not really involved in anything. Yeah, I might go to church on a Sunday, but then so are you active in the church? Are you active in the community? Are you active in some nonprofit organization? Are you a volunteer? Do you do anything like that? Are you making any contributions to your community? They want to see sustained. This is not a one-time deal like, oh, I donated $1,000 to this charity or something like that. They're looking at sustained community involvement and contributions in the United States. Number two, family caregiving, responsibility, and ties in the United States. They want to make sure that you're taking care of your relatives, guys. Okay. Are you taking care of your relatives? Yes or no? And what ties do you have here? Do you have a good amount of relatives here in the United States? And are they under your care? Are you, and we'll get to child support momentarily because it's no longer going to be about, oh, making child support payments pursuant to the court order. No. Have you paid up in full? or are you still on the child support, tied up in the child support system? Yes or no? Thirdly, educational attainment. Did you go to school here? Um, did you better yourself? What did you earn? High school diploma, associates, a bachelor's, any certificates? What have you done on the educational side of things? They're connecting that now to citizenship and character. Believe it or not, right? Fourthly, your employment history will now matter. Stable and lawful employment history and achievements. Have you been able to hold down a job? So you're saying, well, are they going to ask for my resume? Yes, I've had some gaps in my employment history. Who hasn't really? Most people have had a gap or two in their employment history. That's never usually a big deal. But I think what they're looking for here is if you come to the United States and you just don't work, you're not working. And for some of you who are older, you're now retired, and this happens a lot, your mom or your dad is retired and they come to the United States and they're not looking to get a job. How will this impact them? I think we're going to have to wait and see, because I think their age will matter in the determination here, but they're looking for employment history and some achievements. The next thing that they're looking for is how long have you been here in the United States? How long have you been a lawful resident? Now, yes, you might meet the requirement. You have a green card, and that was a lawful process for you. And for some of you, you apply for naturalization very quickly after being eligible for it. So you might not have 10 years in the United States or even longer. Is that now going to matter? According to this is how broad it gets. So again, because this is so new, we're going to have to push back and fight when USCIS denies someone based on something as absurd as, well, this person has been in the United States for only 6 years versus 10, or is that what it's going to come down to? Well, we're ready for that fight and we will be pushing back. And then the last positive factor or contribution, your contribution to the U.S. Is on the tax side. Compliance with tax obligations and financial responsibility in the United States. All right. Those are the contributions that they would like to see that you can discuss with them during the naturalization interview. So you've got to be ready with documentation to show your work history, the fact that you're up to date with all of your tax payments. If you had gone through school here, be prepared to talk about and have paperwork to show proof of any certificates that you've earned. If you take care of family members, be prepared, have some affidavits ready to go for your naturalization interview that discuss it, that are written by other people about the level of caregiving that you've been doing. And certainly on the community involvement side, you've got to be doing something here, guys. I can't say it any other way. They want to see that you are active, contributing, okay, to our country. Now, let's see, let's get this other one. This is also from the same memo, and this talks about behaviors that will disqualify you. We know, of course, if you commit certain crimes, you're disqualified from naturalization. But guys, take a look at this bullet point here that talks about, and this is where the traffic violations will come into play, any other acts that are contrary to the average behavior of citizens in the jurisdiction where aliens reside. These other acts that are different, or behavior that the average American would have, could disqualify you too. And these could be actions that, while technically lawful, may be inconsistent with civic responsibility within the community, such as reckless or habitual traffic infractions, or harassment or aggressive solicitation. Yes, they say here that, well, these actions, while technically are lawful, they may be inconsistent, however, with civic responsibility within the community. And so therefore, we're going to drill down and look into all of that. And then they tell you that you're going to need to provide, they're going to review documentation pertaining to all of this. And the burden, of course, is on you to show that you have this character, that this new higher standard of character that they're looking for. Now, speaking of standard, they are also saying that you've got to inform them and show them that you have rehabilitated. And rehabilitation has always been part of this good moral character standard that the government has. But now they're saying that they want everything to be resolved. They want everything to be resolved. Okay? USCIS will also focus greater attention on ensuring that aliens who have engaged in wrongdoing are properly rehabilitated and reformed. And they're going to be looking at whether you've rectified overdue child support payments or other family obligations, compliance with probation or other conditions imposed by a court, community testimony from credible sources who could attest to your ongoing good moral character, reformation or mentoring. You mentored other people who had similar problems. You've mentored them. Full repayment of overpayment of benefits such as SSI. So if the government made a mistake and paid you more than they should have in certain benefits, you have repaid. And then lastly, full payment of overdue taxes. Full payment. Full. Okay? Full. So there you have it. The new good moral character standard that they're now demanding that folks meet. Naturalization. Maybe what we can do, this memo, it's not on our website. We don't have it. I don't even have the link for you right now, but we could do that. We can get you the link to this memo so that you could read all of this again for yourself if you're applying for naturalization or you plan to apply for naturalization. Keep in mind that the intent here, I think, is to deter people from applying for naturalization. Don't be deterred, be informed. you can still do it. You can still win. As a matter of fact, at the end of today's show, I'm going to share with you some good news naturalization stories. So stay tuned. But in order to win under this new system, you have to clear up some things, really clear them up. And you have to be prepared to answer questions about your parking history, ticket history, traffic violation history. Be prepared to talk about your education, how far you went in school, and what you do in terms of your work or career. Be prepared to show that you're progressive, you're moving forward. Again, have those affidavits, have those tax records. Just be really well prepared on the day of your naturalization interview, and certainly work with an immigration attorney on getting yourself prepared so that you could win the naturalization fight. Okay, guys? So that's really the first news that I want to share with you. And as you're coming on board, type in Freedom Now. You're going to catch the full replay of this important update that I shared. You'll catch it later on once we've published this. All right. Thank you. Now, the next piece that I want to share with you has to do with the fact that today the largest detention center has opened up. Okay, the largest detention center has opened up, and this is in Texas, of course, and this is the Lone Star lockup. Okay, the Fort Bliss Center is being called the largest federal deportation facility in U.S. history. It opened with about 1,000 beds, but it is slated to expand to 5,000 beds by 2027. It is operated by ICE with infrastructure supported through the Department of Defense contract. The expansion alone carries a $230 million price tag funded by you and me, taxpayers, U.S. taxpayers. Now, Texas Senator John Cornyn and other proponents or advocates of this argue that the facility provides humane and safe conditions, but they're also stressing the fact that it is going to be used primarily for criminal aliens, individuals with pending criminal charges or prior convictions who have already exhausted legal remedies. Supporters contend that the facility relieves overcrowding at other ICE centers. It will also centralize operations and strengthens enforcement. But right, there's always a but. There are concerns. Concerns, of course, remain that immigrant workers will be the ones targeted for being placed there, okay? Such as those who are found in construction sites and day labor locations. Folks are predicting those are the individuals who they will actually house there. And of course, there are some human rights concerns and issues. Opponents worry about conditions on the inside, drawing parallels with other controversial ICE facilities that have faced reports of an unsanitary food, overcrowding, or mistreatment, despite what ICE has said and how ICE has denied all of these types of allegations. Now, there's this, this is military, right? Military base versus civilian needs, because Fort Bliss is primarily a military installation. Critics argue it is ill-suited for housing vulnerable populations like asylum seekers or families and other individuals. The use of military bases for civilian detention has historically raised concerns about blurring lines between humanitarian care and enforcement. As a matter of fact, Fort Bliss has a controversial history. It was used as a temporary shelter for unaccompanied migrant children during surges at the U.S.-Mexico border. So that opens up today, and we'll be watching to see whether the government will stick to its word, and as far as criminal aliens are concerned, the placement of criminal aliens there. So now, all right, my screen here, guys, slightly different from how I normally have it set up. So I'm just going to do a quick reconfiguration here. And again, guys, type in freedom now. And of course, let me know in the comments where you're joining from today. Now, let's go into your questions. All right. Okay, so now let's scroll down. Someone said that I saw this pop up earlier about a request for evidence. Someone has an RFE. If you have an RFE, friends, a request for evidence or additional evidence, certainly make sure that you respond to it within that time period that the government has given you. RFEs will become very rare going forward. USCIS has said that they will not be sending out as many RFEs and notice of intent to denies. You can contact us for us to take a look at what that RFE is to see whether it is something that we can assist you with. Can you file the I-485 a month after filing the I-130? If so long as you have the receipt notice for the I-130 and you're eligible for the I-485, yes, you could definitely do that. I'm curious as to why you didn't file both at the same time anyway, but you can still do it, but with a receipt notice of the I-130. With respect to the I-130, how much time does it take to process? That I-130 processing time, Manpreet, will depend on who filed for you, who is the petitioner, and also where is the beneficiary located. For some people, they're getting their cases approved, their case approved within a matter of months, 3 months, 4 months. And then others, it will take, for some people, 12 years, 15 years, 7 years. It really depends on what category they're in. Okay. Thank you. My daughter is a citizen and she filed for me. I've overstayed my visa. I'm from Jamaica. My record is clean. Should I worry about getting an interview soon? So, Veronica, the government doesn't always interview parents when their son or daughter is filing for them. Some do get the interview. You should not be worried about this too much. You mentioned you have a clean record. Hopefully you will have a very smooth time, okay? Very smooth time with your case. Okay, I do see a little bit of spam in here. It might be, we might have already rectified it a little bit. Let's go down. Can you please explain if a spouse of a U.S. citizen who entered the United States legally based on the B-2 visa and now out of status, if that person can still adjust status from inside of the United States? The answer is yes. It's called adjustment of status. You're an immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, and so the government will literally look the other way with regard to your visa overstay and allow you to get a green card here since you came lawfully with that B-2 visa. Freedom now, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see some engagement. And also share your good news stories. Type in any success you've had, whether it was a good interview, an asylum grant, a green card, a citizenship approval, any good thing, a work permit. Share the good news with us. We're eager to let others know so that you could encourage them because the system still works. Can working without authorization affect someone's I-601A waiver? And what's the worst thing that can happen? So it doesn't impact the I-601A waiver. That waiver is looking at whether you're a U.S. citizen or green card holder, parent or spouse will suffer extreme hardship if you're deported. If you don't get the chance to stay here permanently in the United States with him or her. So that is what the government is looking at. Okay, it has nothing to do with you working here without authorization. Okay, let's go down a little bit. My U.S. my USA spouse, that's cute, my US citizen spouse and I went for a marriage-based interview in February 2024. No communication has come from USCIS since then, even after my attorney requested an expedite. Is there anything that can be done? So yes, your attorney, if qualified, could file the mandamus complaints, sue the government to make that next move in your case. That's something that can be done. Okay. Okay. Cynthia says that she is happy to be here today from New York. I like your enthusiasm, Cynthia. Thank you so much for being here. Freedom now. If I see, if I see any comment that is just distracting, I'm just gonna have to ban you, okay? Because I know that there are some bad actors in the comments. They're not gonna deter us by any means, but just know that we're gonna take swift action and we're gonna ban you as well, okay? So please, if you do not want to be banned from this channel and the hassle of trying to get back onto our channel, I ask that you do not put distracting comments here, okay? Okay. Let's go down a little bit. My spouse received a 2-year green card in 2024. Unfortunately, our marriage is ending. There is no animosity at all. What can I do to help him get his 10-year green card? Divorce is in motion. So Nancy, I believe you're the U.S. citizen spouse here. So you mentioned there's no animosity between the two of you, and the person, your spouse, is trying to get the 10-year green card, and you'd still like to help him. It's not going to work out with you helping him, because the only way that you can help him is if you guys were still together in marital unity and you would be signing his I-751 jointly with him, the petition with him, which you cannot do because you're not together. And when you sign that petition with your spouse, you're basically telling the government that everything's good with us and we're living together, we're in a good relationship, it's all is well. And here's the evidence of the last 2 years to prove that. That's really the way that spouses, the U.S. citizen or spouse gets involved in this I-751 process. If divorce is already in the works, then your spouse can still get through on his own, however, through a waiver process, and he could use that divorce document to show that he's divorced. He's divorced from you. It was a good faith marriage, but it ended in divorce. That's how he can get it, okay? This is the first time I've ever seen a U.S. citizen spouse who, is separated from the immigrant spouse who actually wants to help. So thank you for that question. We will be publishing this one. Let's go down. Freedom now, guys. Thank you so much for being with me today. Will my co-sponsor be financially responsible if my wife and I were children apply for benefits, or only if I do since I'm the immigrant? So the question really is, the joint sponsor is on the hook for whoever is coming in, right? Whoever is attached to the case. And that person need to be able to show, let's say, Frillin, like you mentioned, you have a wife, and let's say you have 3 children and they are part of your case. Maybe a sibling filed for you or even a parent filed for you, and it's your turn to go to the U.S. Embassy for the visa. Well, your sponsor need to be able to show that that person can manage everyone, not just you. It's whoever is coming in, all right? I have a criminal record for disorderly conduct, and I would like to apply for citizenship. My record was expunged. Is there going to be a problem? Probably not, Natalie. You might not have any problems, not necessarily because of the expungement, because immigration still cares about a record despite the fact that it's been expunged. They still want to know about it and what happened and how it was, resolved, of course. But it's a disorderly conduct. It's probably something very small. Okay. Share your good news. I see some good news here. We're going to pull them up next Monday. Next Monday. We already have our lineup for today, but go ahead and share it, guys. We would love to encourage others. I was robbed at gunpoint in 2013. I have the police report and I have a video. Can I apply for the U visa? Yes, that's a violent crime that you were a victim of, and you can still apply for the U visa. You would have to get that first part, the certification from the police department, and we work on cases exactly like this one. So you can reach out to us if you'd like help with your U visa case. We do both parts of the process. And then once it's certified by the police department, then we can go to uscis with the case. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go. Freedom now, guys. If a Democrat becomes president in 2028, will all of these new policies be reverted? Most likely, yes, because that's how it goes. It's like ping pong. Trump, 2.0 resurrected a lot of the 1.0 policies, and then they added a lot more force to those policies, and a lot more swiftness to implementing these policies. Okay, but yes, the next administration can certainly get rid of. It's going to take time though, because there are a lot of things to unravel. And I see that it will happen, obviously. It will happen under future administration. Can someone with a deportation do a motion to reopen the case manual? Yes, yes, it can still happen, certainly, to the court. It depends on the timing of things, but to the court or to the Board of Immigration Appeals. And we're working on cases exactly like that. A lot of people need their removal case reopened. My case was terminated. Can I travel? Are you referring to a removal case? A removal case? If you're no longer in removal and you have a green card, yes, you can travel. I would want to know a little bit more about what's on your record aside from that removal, the old removal case. Freedom now, guys. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Okay, let's go. Do I recommend advanced parole for a DACA recipient for a humanitarian purpose? My parent passed away. As long as this is still available, you can go for it. DACA holders are having a very challenging time today, and I'm sharing some of their stories on social media. They are having a very tough time because this administration has wrongly put it out there that having DACA doesn't protect you from deportation, which in fact that's what it does. It's called deferred action, and so there's a degree of fear and intimidation that's happening these days among DACA holders, and they should, I could understand why, because the government has not only they're not supporting any effort to bring about lawful permanent status to DACA holders. They're actually now pushing them under the enforcement process, which is very strange and intimidated. But just know that you can fight it if you're a DACA holder who is detained. You can fight that being detained. That can be fought. You could fight removal. So just know that you will still have those rights and ability. Now, is DACA going to always be here? No. I mean, I think we all know that it won't always be around. What we're looking for is a transition to permanent residency through immigration reform. How long does it take to process the naturalization application? Lloyd, today is a good day to apply for naturalization. It's very quick. It's for most people, it's very fast. And I've been testifying. Some people were able to get it done in a matter of a few months, certainly under a year for most people. Now you've got to do it because this test is going to become harder in 2026, which I've shared on about. 2026, they're coming out with 128 questions that you will need to study, and you'll need to get more answered correctly. And they're going to throw in some new stuff about civic responsibility and democracy. I'm really curious to see what those new questions are going to be. But do it now. It's a faster process. But take heed to what I shared earlier about good moral character with naturalization. If your I-130 was terminated, how can it be reopened? So the termination happens, Crystal, after no action is taken on a case, and it goes over to the National Visa Center and no action is taken there, and they believe that you're no longer interested in this process, so it's terminated. For most people, it's a matter of filing another I-130 for most people, starting over with a new I-130. Okay. I am a green card holder living in Texas since 2017. My son is also a green card holder, has been living in Canada for the past 6 years. Will there be any issues when bringing him back? I plan to do so in September. So it's possible that they might not allow your son to come back in because he has been out for so many years. He's been gone. And yes, there is a return in resident process, an application that can be filed for people, green card holders who have been outside of the United States for a long time. That process is still in place. But most likely, the other way that this could go, don't be afraid. They're not going to do any they're not going to detain him or anything like that. They're just not doing that to children at the airport who have been out for a very long time. I would look at the return in resident process. Let's see. Can someone be detained if they have DACA? Yes, they can be detained. Like I said earlier, the government is trying to intimidate DACA holders, and if you're detained, you can fight it and be released. But I think that. But the answer is yes. So for instance, if you're at a checkpoint and they're asking for documentation or something like that, and which they're not really supposed to do either, and they detain you and you have DACA, you could actually get out of that one, okay? And fight your case. Thank you. Someone says that I'm from Mexico. I have DACA. I'm currently waiting for forgiveness. My wife has filed for me. How long before I hear back? If you're speaking about the 601A process, that's about 3 to 4 years. Some people have been getting their approval at the 2.5 year mark. Okay. Go ahead. Thank you. Let's keep going. Freedom now. Okay, so, Ms. McBean, what if USCIS sent back for evidence and you send it back? How long does it take for them to respond? If I am already here in the United States, my daughter has filed for me. Well, my question to you is, what did they ask for? What was the evidence that was missing? What else did they need? Because that tells me that, depending on the evidence, of course, it tells me how long you're likely to continue to wait. Now that you've sent back the response, they will continue to process the case and make a decision on it, or send you something additional. I don't know. It depends on what they were seeking, what the issue was. For some people, they hear back right away and they get their approval and it's over. But for other people, they might get an interview after that. All right. Keep going. Thank you guys for being with me today on this lunch hour. Type in freedom now. And again, guys, our team, we're here. We're available for you. You can call us to book an appointment. The consultation fees are on our website. They start at $250. Our phone number is 914-898-9488. I was just about to tell you guys something, but I don't think I'm ready for it. But then if I don't, after saying that, you guys are going to be really annoyed if I end the broadcast like that. For those of you who are going through a marriage process, I'm just going to say it. For those of you who are going through a marriage process, you know that immigration is drilling down, and they're calling folks back in for interviews, and they're moving swiftly on these cases. And if the case is denied for some people, they will get a notice to appear in immigration court. So it's very important that you prepare for this interview. Prepare. It's super important. Now, not everyone can afford legal services to sit down with a lawyer and go through a mock interview process and know what issues to look out for and know exactly what to expect. So I've actually created a marriage prep course that we're going to be launching very soon. You can get on our wait list. We're going to share the link sometime this week. I'll be back with live sessions, of course, on social media, more with more information on this. But we're going to have a process that would allow you to get on the wait list and get a discount if you get on that wait list. And I want to say there are about 15 videos, something like that. They're still slicing it up a little bit here. So I think it's going to be about 12 to 15 videos, and it's an excellent resource. I'm providing like everything that you're going to need for your interview, and it's through my scrutiny. It's a very good course, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be launched over the next few weeks, but again, if you get on the wait list, you're going to get a very nice discount on it, so stay tuned. And I've been getting requests over the years for this product and I have it. Okay, so I'm very excited that we'll be able to share that with you soon. So stay tuned. All right, let's go back to some more questions here. If you had a great I-130 interview, how long does it take to hear back from USCIS with a response? So normally you would hear back right away. Normally it's right away. For some people, it's same day. Then for some others, it's the next day. That's what happens when there's a great interview. Okay. Okay. That's what a great interview means. So that's how it works. Okay, let's go down. What if a U.S. citizen child filed for a parent who has a final removal order? And I-130, we had received a notice, but so far we're waiting. Okay, so The process involves the I-130 being approved first, and then the removal case has to be taken care of. It will eventually need to be reopened. And that's the tough and tricky part here. You can contact us to discuss that further. And know that today, guys, of course, there's an elevated risk with filing an I-130 case. Just be informed that USCIS is doing deeper scrutiny of these cases. Some people are receiving very big fines, $1.8 million fine and some other things. Okay, some people are receiving big fines. Other people they're facing interviews. The scrutiny is intense, so you've really got to know what you're doing. Okay, but with this I-130 and removal order case, you've got to work with a professional on each and every one of those stages. Okay, Freedom Now. Thank you. Okay. How does immigration determine who to deport and who not to? While I have the same criminal record like others who's been deported already, is it just a matter of time or just not yet? What to do. So immigration, it's about knowledge, right? What do they know about an individual? What do they know? Do they know about your criminal history? Do they know about this problem? They will know about it. Typically, they know about it when you inform them through a process, through an application process, or if they are working in a jurisdiction where there's cooperation between local police departments and sheriffs, county sheriffs. They will know through information that is shared on that front if an individual is arrested. That's how they typically know these things. Yes, and then the other issue is the FBI records. They have full access to what's going on, who's who, what happened with individuals over the years based on their touch of the criminal justice system. Somehow they tap into all of that. That's why we saw what we saw with the international students. 5,000 to 8,000 international students had received a revocation of their status, their student visa status, because they touch the system somehow on the criminal justice side of things, even small issues involving even some civil infractions, speeding tickets, those kinds of things. So long as you touch the system somehow, they have a way of knowing that, and then they could drill down and go a bit further. Also, guys, watch out this week. I think tomorrow we'll have it ready. Terrific podcast is coming out tomorrow with me and attorney Brian Green. And we're talking about immigration litigation success including the international students and some other big things. Brian was very active on the national level with the litigation, pushing back on the Trump administration over the past few months, and we've worked together on some cases in the past. So I had to sit down with him, and I think you're going to find it incredibly valuable, the information that we're sharing in the podcast. I wanted to get it out to you yesterday, but we just decided we're going to have a weekend instead. So it's going to be tomorrow. So be on alert for tomorrow's podcast, Immigration Litigation Successes. Super excited about it. Denaturalization is the big thing. We're gearing up to do those kinds of cases and fight on the civil side. So it's a very exciting collaboration that we have going on here. All right. Thank you so much for those questions. I think that it's time to share something positive. How many of you can relate to that, right? Getting that green card after waiting, but in this case, a very short time. Guys, immigration is moving fast under this Trump administration. They are moving fast, so do not delay with filing your case. And so now, what are your good news stories? Okay, so I have become a citizen, and this was on August 13th. I became a citizen. Gog Cage says, congratulations. Mabel says that I got my citizenship on Thursday. Swearing in is on Saturday, August 16th. Mabel, please testify. Have you sworn in? Congratulations. That's great news. Silica says, I have two friends who recently got their green card. One was through marriage. Guys, get your case filed, get it in. Now is the time to make it happen. And I believe this is the last one from a McBean. Freedom Now, thank you for all the information you give on this platform. I was very successful in my interview. Congratulations. That's good news. Things are still happening. The government is working. So are we. We're pumping out a lot of information and resources for you. Again, stay tuned tomorrow for the podcast with Attorney Brian Green, well-respected immigration attorney, litigator. Watch tomorrow's podcast. And also, guys, stay tuned for the very exciting launch of my marriage prep course that's coming out. You're going to be able to get on that wait list. Guys, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.